Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? So, long story short, my adoptive parents are narcissists. I had to come in the car to get away. Or adoptive mother, really. I mean, mother and grandmother, anyway. I had to come in the car to get away. I need to get away from the house so I can like detox my brain. Okay. So I wanted to explain what the story is of how I ended up here. I think about the Fresh Prince of Bel Air theme song. My life went crazy upside down. Um, so I'm trying to explain to you basically how I ended up here, how I ended up doing what I'm doing. Okay. So I was a couple months old. My birth mother threw me away. Basically, I didn't really know my birth father. According to their story, um, whatever. He's an abuser. He's an abusive person. She didn't want to deal with him, so she gave me a way to not deal with him, and she kept her first kid. So she threw me away. I was a couple months old. Fine. Then I got adopted by a lady. She's old. She was an older lady. She was what? I think she was 40 something, like 46, 40, like almost 50 when she adopted me. So my granny at the time was 69. The granny who was adoptive granny, her mother, the woman who adopted me, her mother, adoptive granny, was 69 when they adopted me. I was a couple months old. Like the adoption was finalized and I was 5 months old. Okay. So at 5 months old, the adoption was finalized and I was stuck with a 40 something, almost 50-year-old lady and a 69, almost 70-year-old lady. Okay. This I was raised by a 15 and 6 and a 15 and 70-year-old basically. That's where like so, and I'm in my late 20s at currently. So basically, I was raised with like a big generational gap. Like the woman who raised me, or like the woman who adopted me, is technically old enough to be my birth mother's mother. So she's basically old enough to be my grandmother. So there's a big disconnect in a whole bunch of different things for me. Okay. Um, So, like, she really could, like, literally, she really could have been my birth mother's mother. Like, that's how the age gap is. So, it's a huge thing. Um, anyway, so the story of it goes, my granny wanted to have a kid, or wanted to have a grandchild. The woman who adopted me could not have a kid. She had a miscarriage. She couldn't have kids. So they went and adopted me because they couldn't have a kid. Granny wanted a grandkid. Mother couldn't have a kid. Adoptive mother wanted a kid, couldn't have a kid, so she went and adopted me. But she didn't really. It was like from the way I was told. I wasn't told a lot of information about this. Okay, so I'm just trying to put this out so people get understanding. Um, I wasn't told a lot of information about this. What I was told basically was that she couldn't have a kid. When she finally got pregnant, it was a miscarriage. She couldn't really have kids like that. So they went to adopt, right? Granny wanted a grandchild. So they adopted me, basically. I was the only child they had adopted. Again, these two older women, one mother and grandmother, not well, really grandmother and great grandma age. So for the ages there, for the 50 and 70, grandma and great grandma age, basically. Okay. So they didn't want, well, my adoptive mother didn't want a kid after she couldn't have her own, basically, from my understanding. And my adoptive grandmother wanted her to have a kid or wanted a grandchild. So that's the only reason why I got adopted in the first place. So that has been reflected in the way I've been parented growing up. I like, people like, oh, they just said that, blah 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 blah. I don't believe people say things like that just to say things like that. There's got to be some degree of truth in there, and honestly, the way I was raised and the way I was brought up, that is shown to me over and over and over and over and over again, and again by narcissistic people who want to have an extension of themselves, some form of legacy, something to leave their like stamp on the world or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't personally get it at all. Like I don't. Like I get the like leaving behind something. I don't get the Okay, I'm gonna go find a child to mistreat a child, basically. And of course, they don't think that they're mistreating me. Is the issue. Is really the main issue. They don't think they're mistreating me, and they don't want to hear me say that they're mistreating me either. So that's like the big issue, or that I was mistreated. Because my whole life I grew up complaining about the way I was raised, and my whole life, it's always been, oh well, you should be happy because they came and got you, or you should be happy because they put a roof over your head or something. It's like, okay, but people need more than roofs and food. People need some sort of emotional support, emotional balance, some sort of spiritual lessons, spiritual guidance, spiritual teachings. They people need a lot of different things in their life. They don't just need food and shelter. And that's basically what I was given. Was I neglected? No. But was I trying to be controlled? Yes. It was more, um, they acted more like I was a doll, or I feel like a puppet, honestly. But it was the whole thing. It was they're controlling. They want to control everything. The little dress up doll, like they want you. They didn't let me be who I was. They said, "Oh, I'm gonna go get a kid, and we'll just make this kid do whatever we want him to do." They really wanted a robot. They really wanted a robot. I'm not a robot. Like, that's what it is. They didn't want something. They didn't want something that thinks for them. That thinks for itself, basically. Which I almost every living creature does. I don't, aside from maybe some humans, but most living creatures tend to think for themselves. They did not want a living creature. They wanted some sort of what robot being. I don't know. They wanted some sort of thing they can just program in and have it do whatever they wanted to do. And I was not that being. We have lots of clashes. So I'm out here basically because I need some space. My point being is that, and my lip is like dry, so I keep looking at. Um, my point being in this is to say that this is the abuse is like this, right? Where the abuse comes in at is that people want to really, 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 really control you. They don't want you to be who you are. They want to tell you who you are, or they want to tell you who they want you to be, right? There's so many times where I grew up with just the, ugh, with them trying to like make me be who I wasn't. My entire life has been framed about me being who they like, making me be who I wasn't. Okay, so I looked outside my window earlier. There's a basketball hoop at the house. Okay, I don't play basketball. I wanted to learn just off of like natural, like wanting to, kids want to play sports or something, right? Like, but again, they're so hypocritical and controlling of me that I couldn't even learn it because it was always like, hey, you guys, sorry, the video cut out. My phone overheated in the car because I got the heat on. Point being, they do this. They try and control you. They try and make you do certain things, this and that. Like, she bought a whole basketball hoop to try and make me play basketball, be more masculine. There's so many different things that like there's been done. Money controlling, various things like that. Like, if you look up anything with narcissism or narcissistic people, generally almost every single trait or every single I mean, there's there's like a long list of things that they do, abuse tactics, things like that they do. Maybe I can count maybe on one hand the things that may be on that list that have not been done to me. The majority of things have been done to me. 99% of the things the narcissistic people do, people with the personality disorder, people with that trait, people with those behavior patterns, 99% of those things have been done to me, y'all. I've watched so many different videos. I've watched so much different things. I've watched so many different emotional abuse things. I've researched. I've read. I've looked up books. I've been doing a whole bunch of self-help and a whole bunch of like therapy work. And I'm telling you, most of that stuff, if not all of it, has been done to me. I think I've only maybe found one or two things that narcissistic people will do as like just as tactics, not just as like a behavior pattern, but like as specific tactics. Like money controlling is a thing, but they may not do it in this way, they may do it in that way, but they still is like money controlling. Or like various different things like that. So there's only been like a couple of things that have not been done to me as far as that is concerned. So basically what I'm trying to say is that people they drain you, if they try to drain you of your energy. That's one thing they love to do, is to make you not be who you are, make you be who they want you to be. Not being who you are can drain your energy. Why? Because your energy is supposed to be coming from who you are. You give off your energy, you exude yourself, you express yourself. Their whole goal is for you not to express yourself, but to express who they want you to be. Is draining of your energy, because you're fighting between being yourself and who they want you to be constantly, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's a constant battle every day. The same battle people have about they say about the id, your desire center, your childlike center, inner child, and your super ego, the thing that's supposed to be better for everybody else, and societal things. This is that going back and forth all day long, and your ego gets tired of trying to figure out what to do, of going back and forth all day long, all day long, all day long, trying to fight. Should I do this? Or should I do what I want to do, or should I have to do what everybody else wants me to do? Should I do what I want to do, or what everybody else wants me to do? What I want to do, everybody else. I want to do, everybody else. I want to do, or everybody else. Going back and forth with that all day long, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's like a thing. It gets exhausting. It's draining going back and forth with that. There are some people, lots of people, who may be, most narcissistic people are children on the inside, or childish, where they just go based off of the id and the id alone. They don't think about anybody else. They just want to go what they want to do, and only what they want to do. And they just go and bulldoze, and it's toxic for everybody else, because they don't have any they don't try and use any super ego, right? Super ego is supposed to be the side that does what everybody else wants to do. That's, some people have overage of that, where they do people pleasing, right? Well, they don't even allow, they lose themselves by trying to please everybody else, right? So there should be some, technically we as people are supposed to have some healthy balance between the two, of doing something that's supposed to be not harmful to society, but also allows us to express ourselves. Now, if you're around a narcissistic person, that's super hard, because they're going to push you in that super ego direction, where you lose yourself completely and do whatever they want you to do, or whatever they feel like it's going to make, whatever they want you to do, whatever's going to make your environment best for them, all that kind of stuff, because they only think about themselves. They're in the child center. They want, everything for themselves, right? They're unbalanced in this way. Like, they're unbalanced because they're more id focused. They're more on this side, and they're trying to get you to be more on the super ego side to balance. It's like to balance them out. But in turn, it's unbalanced for you. And they, of course, now some people may say they can have the ability to gain empathy. Some may not. Look, the way I was raised, I don't have hope for these people. I just see you where you are. Bye. Okay, bye. I gotta go. I see, if I see too many traits, I gotta go. Too many behaviors, I gotta go. Too many actions, I gotta go. Okay, too many triggers, I gotta go. So I don't even because I don't want no abuse no more. I don't deal with it. Bye. Oh, we only have 5 minutes. I don't see what that. I'm like, that 5 minutes told me enough. I need to know. Bye. I'm good. See you. Never again. And don't ever want to see you again in my entire lifespan. I don't care if I end up reincarnating into a cat or something. I don't want to see you as a cat. I don't want to see you as you passed on. I don't want to see you as somebody else. No, nothing. Bye. Forever and ever, ever. And ever, ever, ever. Okay? But I'm saying that to say that it's really, really draining to be around these people, because they don't allow you to be yourself. So if you are around people and they don't allow you to be yourself, or you feel triggered in some type of way, or you get really, really tired around this person, and you start trying to think about it, chances are it's because if you really sit down and like are trying to be conscious of your thoughts, of your actions, and how whatever these people are saying to you is affecting you, you're gonna probably see that, oh, I people please at this moment. Or like if you wanted something to eat, right? Like say you wanted, I don't know, say you wanted like fish, okay? So you wanted fish and the other person wanted, I don't know, steak. So you wanted fish and they wanted steak, and if you're like actively like, okay, I really want this fish, like you're finna go get fish, and then like blah blah blah, this person came up and they said, and they was like, oh well, I want steak, so let's go to this other place, and you're like, well, I have my heart set on this place, and there's no compromise in the middle. You just start like completely just giving up what it is that you wanted for the other person, and you wondering why you feel drained there, or you don't like what you did there, or you don't like what you ended up. It's because you just gave yourself up for that. You do that to yourself a little bit. Like, no offense, no shade, but like you did it to yourself a little bit because you didn't, stand up for yourself and saying like, oh no, I want this, or I want to get to a place that like does both of these things, so we can get steak and steak and fish, whatever, that type of thing. But my point being is that's where that comes from. That's where that draining energy comes from. That's why you get tired. That's why you don't want to do it. That's why that social media, can run out really, really fast for people, because they're of that people pleasing energy. That people pleasing energy is really, really draining to a lot of people, especially to your inner child, especially to your inner self, right? Your shadow side, your inner child, your inner self, the you that you always wanted to be, the you that if you were ever free to be, like a lot of people. I'm one of those people who I was on the people pleasing side because I was raised by narcissistic people. So for me to be all about myself is like, oh my god, yeah, I always wanted to be a narcissistic person with the toxic traits. Well, I didn't want the toxic traits at all, but I didn't know what it meant. I just knew that these were the type of people that basically was all about themselves first. Okay. Growing up, of course, now I've learned differently, but my point being is that I grew up wanting to be narcissistic. I grew up wanting to just care only about myself, be only about myself, like make myself happy, because I was always told I need to not make myself happy, I need to make everybody else happy around me, right? Of course, there's a balance that needs to be had, but I was raised on the superego side of the spectrum. A lot of the popular people you see, a lot of celebrities and stuff like that, depending, some of them will say they were raised in the middle or this is that, but you will see, if you see the toxic ones I'm talking about, like the toxic people, and I'm sure you know who toxic people is. If you can think of some for yourself, of course, the main one I will go to is Trump. It's the easiest example. It ain't hard to look for. Okay. A toxic id, only in the id, only thinks about himself, doesn't think about anybody else, don't know how the hell you got to be president if you don't think about anybody else besides yourself, but whatever, beside the point. One of those people just has like no super ego. I think he's probably developed one since being president a little bit, but not really. It's like a false super ego. But moving on, I'm not trying to diagnose or dissect him. Point being is that these people, they have these different, like, if you're a super ego person, if you're a people pleaser, don't expect for people to be around people that you're probably not going to. You may attract other people pleasers, but more than likely, if you're used to being around people who are in that id mindset, that narcissistic mindset, you're gonna probably attract more people in that narcissistic mindset. So if you feel uncomfortable around these people, it's not that, oh, there's something wrong with you. It's more that you're attracting the same type of energy that you grew up around, that you're used to. There's nobody out here, y'all, so it's scaring me a little bit. If you are an id person, a narcissistic person, these people tend to seek out these people pleasing people, and they will dissect little things. They're not used to having. Probably used to having like more healthy people around, or things like that, where they can't like push them to do things. They will try to find these people. So if they, I don't, and it's so hard because like any little sign can like tip them off that you're a people pleaser or you're an empathetic person or whatever, and they prey on that. They attack that. So my point being is that there's supposed to be some sort of balance, right? But if you feel like it's at any point it's unbalanced, or your social media has ran out, or you're uncomfortable with the situation, please say something. Please let somebody know something. Please like voice that so that you can kind of like train yourself to do it. I'm still in the process of like training myself to do it. Like I really am having I've had a hard time with it. I'm getting a lot better, but I've had a really hard time with like training myself to like speak up when something is like bothering me, especially because at every single turn, as I said, 99% of the things, if not a whole 100% of the things that narcissistic tactics or abuse tactics have been done to me, financial abuse, emotional abuse, okay, physical abuse. There's so many different things. So for me, it's hard. I'm getting like in different areas, I'm able to like do different things, but sorry, y'all. It's like I'm like I don't even want to cry. Like I'm telling you, I try not to show any weakness whatsoever, just simply because I've so many of these people like will see like any like if you show any type of emotion, they like try to attack you. So I whatever. I try to be in my little bubble. But this COVID, this Rona, this all this kind of bullshit. Financially, I need to get my life together. That's a whole other subject for a whole other day. My point being, okay, if anybody is dealing with this or knows anything that like knows what I'm talking about in any way, shape, or form, leave it in the comments below. Just leave it in the comments below. I do have a tarot channel where I do readings. I do try to help people heal from that type of stuff, or point out that kind of stuff, or if you thought like you get triggered by something, I do try to help people out. I do personals as well. And I have meditations on another channel called the Shadow Subliminals channel, which has subliminal affirmations that are positive. If you read the description, you see what the affirmations are, and they're supposed to help you like rewire your brain to help you like fight this stuff off, because after a while it beats down your subconscious. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm trying to heal from it myself. I'm in the process of healing from it currently. So what I found, whatever I find works, I want to share with you all. So these are things that I found have worked, but setting these boundaries, things like that, they're working for me and helping me. But damn it, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a rough road for me. So, financial abuse, emotional abuse, all these different types of things. If you feel your social media is run out, if you feel like your energy is drained, if you ever deal with these people and you don't understand why you hang out with them and they seem like they're so nice, but it ends up feeling like a whole different experience afterward, that's why. Okay, that's why. It's not necessarily you. And you should know the difference. If you're the one who's giving to somebody all the time, or worried about somebody else all the time, or somebody is always trying to like make something about them all the time, you know you're not the problem. Just know you're not the problem. Okay? If you're dealing with if you're the person who's like trying to make something about yourself all the freaking time, and you found nobody wants to deal with you, you are the problem. I'm about to get both sides of the aisle here, because I feel like there's a lot of people who seem to think that whatever. Like if chances are the people who are the problem are not going to admit to being the problem. So for the people who are not the problem, run. That's the best thing I can tell you. It's just run and do not look back. Okay? Don't ever look the fuck back. Don't ever go the fuck back to these people. Don't ever deal with these people ever the fuck again. Leave them the fuck alone. For good. Bye. Trust me when I say this. The more you stay away from them, the better you can heal yourself, and the more you can start to find people who either know and understand what you're dealing with and don't try to trigger you on purpose, or you can deal with people who are just genuine and good people and who won't trigger you at all. Like there's a couple people I've come to find out that don't trigger me at all, and there's some people who they are trying to not trigger me, and sometimes they end up doing it anyway, but no fault of their own. They're like empathetic about it, and if they do. But my point being is that's a completely different environment, and I'm not trying to go back to the old one. I'm not trying to go back and deal with the abusive one. So I don't want any of y'all to go through that either. Anybody who's watching this, anybody who's dealing with that, anybody who has any of that going on, This is just, a PSA out there. If you were feeling any type of way about that, I just want to let you know, because again, I come out here, I channel things, I've gotten that energy, I felt there was a thing going on there. So I just wanted to put this little video out there. I was raised by these people who, to me, I say God didn't want them to have a kid because of the miscarriage and everything like that. So I was giving these people that God didn't want to have a kid, and this is why. They raised them with abuse. So, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Y'all stay blessed out there. And please, please, please click the link in the description box below. Join the Assassination. I'm having a Facebook group now for the Assassination. Basically, the whole point is that we assassinate these spiritual blockages that we have up over our lives, these traumas, all these different things. We're healers. We're killing this stuff off. I go very aggressive. As you see this video, I have a much more aggressive approach to a lot of this stuff. Much more aggressive of no longer like sitting down and taking the shit anymore. Sometimes it gets exhausting, but for the most part, fighting back against the fucking bullshit. So. Thank you all again for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be blessed.